Hey, this is Jamie from GarageSaleCoach.com, and this is another one of my garage sale find videos. Hey everyone, it's 2014 and I'm going through last year's garage sale finds of 2013, and this was week 3 of March. I actually went out on Friday and bought just a few things on Friday, but Saturday had another one of my favorite large community sales. Get there early and stay there for 3 or 4 hours because there's a lot of sales to go to and it's a nicer area. So the profit this week was almost $2,000, so it was a real good garage sale week. So let's go through what I found. I had 2 finds. I couldn't break it down what was my best find of the week, so I actually had 2, and I'll go over those 2 here on the next 2 slides, but they're both video game related. First one was a brand new in the box Pikachu yellow Game Boy Color, and if you just found this, just on a table, it would be worth about $30. But new and sealed in the original box, it's worth a lot more to collectors. And in this situation, it was later in the day, probably about 10 o'clock, and I was trying to find more stuff, so I started asking a little bit, you just see who's working there, or whose sale it is, and say, do you have any video game stuff, or whatever it is you're looking for. Sometimes I'll ask for, computer stuff, or cell phones, or electronics, or any kind of thing that I think that might relate to what they would have. And I asked if they had any video game stuff, and on this one she said, well, hold on a second, and she brought it out, and it was, new, sealed in the box. And in these situations I usually let them kind of determine a value instead of me, because I didn't really know the value myself. So I didn't want to look it up in front of her. So she said, $30, and I thought about it, and I know that old Nintendo stuff that's new and sealed is still valuable, so I paid the $30. And then I tried to ask it more on eBay for it, and I wasn't getting it, so I finally just put it on an eBay auction, and it sold for $270. So that was real good, and the profit's around $240. So a great find and very easy to sell and ship. So the other thing this was they had the Wii on the table, but I think everything was in a bag like below the table, so you couldn't really even see it, and it was probably about 9 o'clock. Plus, Wii stuff doesn't sell that great at garage sales, but sometimes the stuff that's with it is worth a lot, like the games and the controllers. And on this one, these 3 controller sensors are worth each about $10 each, and then a lot of these games are worth $20 and $30 each, and the Wii Fit Plus, and then the Wii. And I kind of broke it all up, sold the Wii on Craigslist, maybe the Wii Fit on Craigslist, and put some of the games on Amazon and some of the other stuff on eBay. And I forgot how I broke it up, but you can go to the profit report and you can see how I did it. When it was all said and done, it sold for $285, and so about $200 profit minus fees. On Friday I picked this up. It was a trolling motor, and it was about, I think, like a 40-pound thrust, so it was a pretty good quality one with the mount that goes on the boat, so it was a little bit more expensive. I could have sold it online for probably around maybe like $240 or $250, but trying to ship this thing was not going to be fun, so I put it on Craigslist and finally accepted an offer of $160 and just made a $70 profit. Didn't have to deal with shipping it anywhere. Picked up a bike seat, and as long as you got all the hardware that you need to hook it up, these sell all day for $25 to $35 on Craigslist. And I don't normally buy them because I don't want to deal with them, but I did here, and made $24. This is another digital TV converter box, for the HD over-the-air antenna, and they sell all day on Amazon. Paid $5, sold it for $32.99, $27 profit. They're called Wiley X Eyewear, and I think they use them for like OSHA approved eye protection or dust protection or things like that, and they can be pretty expensive. They can go up into the $50, $60, $70 range, and it looked like it was pretty new. Now, the one thing I found out after I bought this is there's a lot of fakes out there, and I don't know if these were real or fake. So I think I just put it with a buy it now and dropped the price down and said, basically told them I got it at a garage sale. I don't know anything about them, and just put the details, but still made a $30 profit. Picked up some cell phones. Anytime you can find cell phones that are somewhat recent, they can still sell for something. Now, these ones weren't the greatest, but you know, basically 20 bucks a piece on them, and I paid $2 a piece, so that was $58 profit. This is a label printer. Some of these are worth nothing, some of them are worth something. I looked this one up on Amazon when I was at the sale, you know, and I made 20 bucks profit on this. This is a camcorder, and it's the I think it's a high 8 camcorder, or maybe it's actually just a video 8. And a lot of people buy these old camcorders because they have the old video cassettes that they need to be able to transfer to DVD or to watch the videos. So, and a lot of times these camcorders stop working. So even if they owned one, it doesn't work anymore. So they need to find one that works. And probably on these older ones, probably about 40 or 50% of the time I buy it, it has something not working right. A lot of times it's the battery, but sometimes it just doesn't play. So you need to take that consideration when you're buying it. Well, in this case, I paid $3 for it, so it really wasn't anything to worry about. Sold it for $85, and that was an $80 profit. This was an old, like 1980s board game. I didn't have the outer box, but they had the parts, and these things sell for a lot. I mean, if I had the whole game and all the stuff, it would have sold for over 100. But just selling these pieces, I did it in an auction on eBay, and it sold for $67. I paid $10, so that's $57 profit. This is an old 1980s Transformer metal, like Mattel, or I forgot who makes this one, Aladdin or somebody. Oh, Aladdin makes this one. Lunchbox, and it was pretty beat up. I was kind of like, I won't get much for it, but I only paid $1. And I put it on auction, it sold for $26. If I had done a buy it now, I don't think it would have sold. So it's crazy sometimes when collectibles auctions can go up higher. This was a laptop, and they didn't have the hard drive for it, or I don't know if they had the charger cable. I can't remember on this one, but they only wanted $5 for it because they said they took the hard drive out. So I knew I could still sell it without the hard drive, because people, they can put hard drives in them or whatever. And so I sold it, buy it now on eBay for $125, so $120 profit minus fees, of course. This one was a brand new Blu-ray, I think like a 3D Blu-ray player with the 3D glasses, and they were all still new. So it took me some kind of haggling on this one. They were at like $100, I think, and I didn't really want to pay that much. And so I looked it up on Amazon how much they were selling for, and I think I even double checked on eBay. So I ended up paying $75, and I sold the Blu-ray player by itself on Amazon, and each one of the glasses by themselves. I think the player went for around $100, and each set of the glasses went around $35 to $40. So that was $180. So almost $100 profit. This was an e-reader, and I probably shouldn't have bought it. I mean, unless it's the good brands like Nook or Kindle or of course iPads, they don't carry a lot of value. So I ended up selling this one for $20, and by the time I had to pay shipping and all that, I didn't make much at all. But and I didn't lose, but still $10 profit. This was probably my mistake of the week. Luckily, I didn't lose more money. This is a brand new heater, but it's like some high-end heater. And I looked it up. I think I scanned it and looked it up on Amazon, and it was selling for like $300 plus. And that was the lowest price. And I'm thinking, okay, great. This will be easy to sell. She's got the original box. It was open, but she said it was new. I think they probably had used it once. But come to find out, when I went to list it on Amazon, it was one of those items that were restricted from listing. And the prices were high because only a few people could list, and it was the main manufacturer or whatever. Well, come to find out on eBay, they don't sell for that much. I should have double checked there, but I just wasn't thinking. It's a community sale, and sometimes I'm just kind of going. So I ended up selling it. I might have put it on an auction, and it sold for $113. They paid for the shipping. After I paid fees, I pretty much broke even, and I was happy to do that, but I could have saved myself a lot of time and energy by just not paying the $100 for it. But, that's how you live and learn. I bought a printer. This is an inkjet printer, but it's an OfficeJet Pro, and a lot of the OfficeJet Pro ones will still sell for a lot because they're expensive to start with. But I try to stay away from inkjet printers unless there's a real potential for a good profit, because they break a lot. And probably 75% of the inkjet printers I've ever bought were broken somehow. So this one, I sold it locally on Craigslist because I didn't have the box for it. I still made a $40 profit selling it for $65. These were laser tag guns that were still new in the box, and this is, if you've seen one of my previous videos, or you'll see I buy some of these when I come across them, but new in the box is much more valuable. So each of these sold for $75 new, so it was $150. And I paid $25 for the pair, and I actually passed them up, and I saw one of my competitors walking over looking at it, and he ended up buying something else, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't buy those. And he also passed up on a DS with some games that I had somehow didn't see until he dug it out. So anyway, it worked out good for me. But that's $125 profit minus fees. I'm kind of a sucker for Transformers because one of my best hits was I bought a box of old Transformers for $7 and sold it for like $255. So anytime I come across Transformers, I a lot of times want to pick them up. But this one, you know, it's kind of a bigger Transformer, but it only sold on eBay for $27 on auction, so I pretty much broke even. This was a Garmin with it had lifetime maps on it, and at the time, you know, it was worth about 90 bucks on Amazon. I would say it's probably closer now to about 60 or maybe 60 or 70 depending. Actually, probably closer to 60, but at the time I paid 35 and they were at like 40 or 50, and I worked hard to get them down to that, but $50 profit on that. This one was a, I looked this one up as well. It's an Audi Concert 2 car radio, and I looked it up, and it can sell for like 80 or more. It was only $5, but come to find out with these, you have to have some kind of PIN number or some kind of code. It's to keep them from being stolen, so people don't steal them. And if you don't have that code that came with the original manual, you pretty much can't use it. So I think I sold it and then had to do a return, and then I sold it again, you know, with that information, and it sold for much cheaper. So it would have been a $40 profit, but I actually lost the return shipping on the other one too, so probably a little bit less than that. Just a typical Blackberry. Some of them are worth more than others. This one happened to be worth $70. Sprint can be hard to deal with. Sometimes they won't activate. I try to stick with AT&T and T-Mobile, but you know, I take my risks, and this one, you know, $50 profit. This was a radar detector. Some of these can be worth more as well, so I paid 20, hoping I'd get more, and I only sold it for 30. I had it listed for more, but you know, I didn't lose. Sometimes I'll take risks, you know, knowing I'm not going to lose, but I just don't make as much as I would hope I'd make. DS, just the original DS, and sold it on Amazon for $35. Only paid $3 for it. A Game Boy Advance, only paid $2 for it. Sold it on Amazon as well for, you know, $21.79. I think I went $21.79 because the next highest or whatever was $21.99, and I wanted to be less so that it would sell quick. A couple ink cartridges. Sold these individually for $9.99 on Amazon. Only paid $3 for the pair. They had 3 on the one in the box and $1 on the small one, so I paid, you know, offered them 3. An iPhone 3G, you know, I like Apple products. They always resell well. I mean, the iPhone 3G is old now, so I sold it for $74.99. It probably would sell closer to about 40 or 50 in 2014. But people still use it for iPods and podcasts, and you can still, you know, use all the iPod functions on it, even if you don't use it as a phone. So they still have value. Oh, this was actually an iPod Touch, not an iPhone. I don't know why I said 3G. I can't remember which one it was. It was an iPod Touch. So they still have value, though. This is another Sprint Blackberry, and you can see on this one, this was an older model than that last Bold, and this one only sold for $16.50. But I only paid $5 for it, so I still made $10. Another one of those handy cams. This one's actually a more desirable model. It's a high 8, but it's a digital handy cam, so I think these have the ability to actually transfer your tapes to the computer. So it still has more of a value, and of course I test them to make sure they're, you know, recording and playing sometimes, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll just make sure it turns on and hope for the best. But this one did a good job and made $100 profit. It sold for $125 on Amazon. I picked up a couple of books because they were in good condition, and I don't think if a book doesn't even look like it's been opened, you can sometimes sell it as new. So I probably did that with these two and paid $3 and sold them for $10 or $11 combined. So $7 profit. I'm kind of a sucker for Star Wars stuff, so I kind of had a hope that this would be worth more. I think I might have scanned it and saw it was only worth $7 or $8, but I still bought it because I'm kind of a sucker for Star Wars stuff, just because they can be so valuable, and I've had such good, you know, good profits in the past with Star Wars stuff. So even if I'm not going to make a lot, sometimes I just buy it because I'm a sucker. And another handy cam. This was Sony. Sony tends to be the highest resale value on camcorders, no matter if it's a digital or a high 8 or a mini DV or a, you know, video 8. I don't go back to the big cartridges ones. Those ones just, they broke too much, and they don't, you know, people can use a VCR to transfer their stuff. They don't need the old one. So anyway, paid $30, sold it for $94, $60 profit. This is an FM transmitter for a car. Paid $5 for it, sold it for $25 on Amazon, $20 profit. And just a video game, probably scanned it and saw it was selling for $12, so I can make an easy profit on it. So $6.99 plus fees. A brand new graphics card. I bought it because it was new. A lot of times new stuff can still sell, and I scanned it on Amazon before I bought it, so I made $25 on that. It sold for $35. This was a network camera for like home security and whatnot, and it was still new, and I had scanned it and I saw, you know, it was going for well, so I was okay paying $50 for it. I don't remember how much he was asking, but you know, that's a $100 profit on that. Another one of those e-readers that I shouldn't have bought, and I don't know why I paid so much. I think I scanned it on Amazon, and sometimes they're listed at higher, but nobody's buying them, so I think I had to come all the way down to $34.99 until somebody finally bought it. So I pretty much lost on this one. I mean, I kind of broke even, but I lost the fees. And another Blackberry. Was doing the day for Blackberries. Paid $20, sold it for $45. It was Verizon, which also sometimes can give you a hard time, but I haven't had too many problems like lately. Yeah, this was another mistake. Sometimes you find an item and you don't realize that they took the old one out, took the new item out and put the old item back in it, which is what happened with these. So these headlights here that would have sold, you know, on Amazon for 20 or 30 bucks, and ended up being the ones that they took out of their car and just kind of sealed it back up in there. So I lost, you know, I just shipped it to them and I just gave a full refund and asked them to send it back. This is another deal where DeWalt, even if you don't have the drill, it can be valuable. I sold the battery and the charger separately on Amazon and paid $5 for it and sold it for $42, and so $37 profit. I'm a sucker for Transformers, but these were kind of newer Transformers and they weren't the good ones. So I paid $15 for the lot and put it on an auction just like this, and it only sold for $10. So I've made, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Transformers, so I can afford the $5 loss, you know, just taking a shot. But I probably could have done a buy it now and done better, but I didn't really know. A girl's bike. I bought this because my daughter was wanting a bigger bike at the time, and it just kind of was too heavy for her, so I paid $10, and then I just flipped it for $30 and made a $20 profit. And then the last thing I bought for the week was this lot of Xbox stuff. And it was actually 2 Xboxes and then 19 games. So I broke up 2 of them with not as good of games and sold them on Craigslist for I think about 20 or 25 a piece, and then I sold the games in a lot on Amazon. I think one of the games was worth a little bit more and sold it on Amazon. So I messed up when I was calculating my profit reports. I forgot there was 2 Xboxes here, so actually I sold it altogether for another 20 or 25 on top of that, so about 90 or 92. So it would have been closer to a $60 profit. But because I've already calculated all the totals, I did not want to go back and change all that kind of stuff. Either way, you know, it was still a profit. So the total for the week, I paid $8.92 and sold it all for $28.38. So that was almost $2,000 in profit minus fees, especially when you add that extra $25 for that. So another great week. Hopefully you found this stuff helpful. I always would love to have your comments or any questions. And if you want to, you know, learn more, you can go to garagesalecoach.com and sign up for my newsletter. I'll send you a free guide that'll, you know, give you 10 steps to everything you need to do exactly what I do to make profit. You know, I don't know that you'll make as much as I do because I do it full time, but you know, just if you went and cherry picked and picked, you know, the things that you can make, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, you know, it could be a big difference for you. So also, if you want to watch more videos on YouTube from me, you can click subscribe or like this video. It helps me to rank higher, or you can share it, you know, through the social platforms, whatever you choose. I look forward to hearing from you. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks again.